term side hustle has really gained momentum in recent years, so I'm using it in the title of this video, but I'm at the point in my life where I'm not looking to hustle. Between running a 7-figure financial coaching and training company and raising 2 young autistic kids, I've got enough on my plate. However, I always like extra income, so in this video, I'm gonna share my top 10 least hustly side hustles. And I'm not gonna waste your time or insult your intelligence by telling you to collect coupons or play solitaire on your phone. I want you to be able to make an extra $1,000 to $10,000 a month with as little time, energy, or stress as possible. And without needing any specialized degrees or certifications. And if you're a mom like me, you know it's not always easy to get anything done with the little ones around. Even going to the bathroom by yourself may become a rare luxury. So I want to give you some options that can work without having to have someone else watch your kids while you're doing it. By the way, if we're just meeting, I'm Penelope Jane Smith, and my unique magic is supporting women entrepreneurs to become financially free in 5 years or less with $10,000 a month or more in passive income from their investments. So I'm hoping that the reason you're looking for extra income is to invest it and accelerate your path to financial freedom. But whatever the reason, I've got your back. So let's tap the like button on this video and dive in. Side hustle number 1 is to rent stuff out. For example, if you have a spare room in your house, maybe you could rent it on Airbnb. One of my clients rents out her place when she's traveling. Instead of paying a house sitter or a pet sitter, if you have pets, you could potentially get paid by renting your place out while you're on vacation. Another client made a whole business out of this. She started out by renting out a room in her house, and by the end of the first week on Airbnb, the majority of the month was booked. So she opened up a second room, then a third, then a fourth, and made $4,650 in her first month. Now, sometimes that meant that she'd take her whole family and they'd go stay at her mom's place. Then she rented a whole second house so that she could expand her business until she was able to make $100,000 a year, averaging $8,600 a month after paying her rent and utilities. Now, if Airbnb doesn't seem like a good option for you, maybe you have storage space or even room in your driveway or at the side of your house where someone could park their boat and pay you for the space through neighbor.com. One of my clients has rented her swimming pool out by the hour on swimply.com. And then outdoorsy.com lets you rent out your RV or camper van. Then if you have a nice car, there are services like Turo that are like Airbnb for cars. So you could rent out your car while you're not using it and get extra cash. And then Fat Llama lets you rent out practically anything. Some of the most in-demand items are camera equipment, projectors, lighting, audio equipment, but there's tons of other stuff that could work too. I searched on Fat Llama to see if I could rent a Vitamix blender, and I found one. If you don't have any of your own stuff that would work to rent, you could potentially even rent somebody else's stuff out for them, and then you can split the income. As someone who has been in business for myself for most of my life, I will tell you that the hardest part is marketing. And the fact that these sites I mentioned do your marketing for you is amazing. That brings us to side hustle number 2, which is to flip stuff. That means selling something for more than you paid for it within a relatively short period of time. You can even start with something you have around the house already, or something you get for free on Craigslist. You can start small and keep trading up to bigger things, or you can specialize in flipping specific items repeatedly. You know, I've seen examples of people making 6 figures a year flipping couches or washer and dryers. Now, obviously, these specific items are best for people with the physical stamina and a big enough vehicle to haul these things around. But one of my mastermind buddies, a 13-year-old kid, flips laptops. I've seen people flipping iPhones, clothing, music gear, antique tools. There's so many options. And on the high end, you've probably heard plenty of stories of people flipping houses. There are even TV shows about it, right? Side hustle number 3 is dog sitting and/or dog walking. So you can set up a profile with a site like Rover or Wag as a sitter or a dog walker. And what I like about this is you can leverage this income stream on top of other things that you're already doing. Like if you want to be walking anyway for the health benefits, why not bring a dog with you or several dogs with you and get paid to exercise? If you're working from home, could you have one or more dogs with you during the day? One of my mastermind buddies makes over $6,000 a month by providing doggy daycare for small, quiet dogs that hang out with her while she works remotely for her corporate job. I love that. And then side hustle number 4 is childcare. The reason I'm including this is because there's just so much demand. And you can add your profile to apps like care.com, sittercity.com, or urbansitter.com to help you with finding childcare gigs. And if you have kids of your own, this might be more accessible. So for example, one of our babysitters has 2 young kids of her own. She's not gonna be able to do something like computer work effectively while taking care of the kids. But adding one more kid to the mix is doable. So she can make money watching my kids along with her own. And you can potentially add leverage by watching more than one kid at a time. Related, side hustle number 5 is tutoring. Tutoring means giving one or more students academic instruction outside of their regular classroom. So you're reinforcing and supplementing what they're learning in class. What I like about tutoring is that you can command a relatively high hourly rate and potentially add leverage by tutoring another kid alongside your own or more than one kid at a time. And there are also online tutoring companies that you can use to find tutoring gigs like tutor.com, Studypool, and Pear Deck Tutor. And then side hustle number 6 is bookkeeping. I'm including this because there's a lot of demand for bookkeeping. And if you don't know how to do it, it's not terribly hard to learn the basics. You might even start out getting a part-time bookkeeping gig at a local firm because most of them are super busy and could really use the help. And then you can learn on the job. Side hustle number 7 is cleaning. This isn't my favorite, but there's so much demand for cleaning. And if you charge for the project instead of hourly, you can rack up some good money. You don't need any highly specialized skills, training, or expensive equipment. You could even niche into just cleaning windows, for example. Side hustle number 8 is landscaping, or even just mowing grass. Again, I'm including this because there's so much demand and it's not terribly difficult or expensive to get started. Side hustle 9 is BabyQuip. BabyQuip is like Airbnb for baby gear, like cribs and strollers. So I could have included this in side hustle number 1, which is to rent stuff out, but I felt like it was worth highlighting as its own strategy because I decided to add this as another semi-passive income stream after our first prosperity adventure to Spain because I bought an expensive travel stroller for Michael and it was awesome, but we only needed it for those few weeks while we were in Europe. And I figured, wouldn't it be nice to just be able to rent a stroller like that for a trip instead of having to buy one? And that inspired me to apply on BabyQuip to be able to rent out that stroller. Now, just so you know, it's not as simple as listing something on Craigslist. You have to apply to be what they call a quality provider and set up a little interview, and then they check to make sure that your area isn't oversaturated with other providers. They do a background check on you and you have to pay a setup fee. For me, all of that happened in less than a week. And in my 15-minute interview, I learned something that I found fascinating. Some providers will list items that they don't own yet, and then they buy those items only if someone wants to rent them. I thought that was a really cool hack, so I tested it for myself, and I found out that sometimes one rental can cover the cost of buying the thing, and then every rental after that is profit. According to their site, the average BabyQuip provider makes $1,000 a month, with some making over $10,000 a month. So you would need to see if this would work well in your particular area, but I liked that this was a fun project that I could do with my kids. I prefer to have people pick up the equipment at my house, but I'm willing to deliver within like 20, 30 minutes of my house. I can pile my kids into the car and we can all go have a little adventure. Side hustle number 10 is pet sitting and or house sitting. Now this is different than the doggy daycare or dog walking because, first of all, pet sitting isn't just dogs. My husband and I have birds. I have an African gray parrot named Joey, and Paul has a yellow named Amazon named Max. It's always a big deal and often hundreds of dollars to line up care for the birds when we travel. And if house sitting allows you to rent your own place out for extra income or couch surf for a while instead of having your own place, that can really help you put a lot more money in your pocket. So there you go. Rent stuff out. You've got all kinds of great resources like Airbnb, Turo, Neighbor, Outdoorsy, Flip Stuff, dog sitting and or walking, childcare, tutoring, bookkeeping, landscaping, BabyQuip, and pet sitting or house sitting. Those are my top 10. Some popular side hustles like driving for Lyft or Uber, or delivering for DoorDash or Uber Eats, or even delivering pizzas didn't make my top 10 because I feel like once you factor in the cost of gas and wear and tear on your car, it's too much hustle for the money for me. And it probably wouldn't make sense to pay somebody to watch your kids so you could go do that. But for some people, they're a great fit. I also believe there's a lot of demand for senior care as well as childcare, but I'm not sure if you can work with more than one person at a time. And I didn't include freelancing or contract work because I wanted these to be as accessible as possible for most people. But if you have a particular skill that lends itself well to these things, hey, go for it. It's totally worth considering, right? And there are some side hustles that can be extremely lucrative over time, like launching a YouTube channel, blog, or online course, affiliate marketing, or drop shipping. But they didn't make my top 10 because those things can take a long time to pay off, if they ever do. And if you're looking for a way to bring in extra income now, well, then I would lean towards something more likely to pay you for your efforts in the short term, right? I also didn't touch on generating more income from your current business or job because this video is about a side hustle, not optimizing your main thing. At my Financial Freedom 101 online 3-day event, I will show you how to create your 3-step profit plan for generating consistent and abundant income in your business. So if you're not already registered, go to financialfreedom101online.com to check it out and claim your ticket. In the meantime, let me know what you think. Which of these side hustles resonates the most with you? Is there something I didn't mention that's been working really well for you? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, please tap the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at Financial Freedom 101.